basically, the question was, which of the killers in Dead by Daylight is the best when they don't use their power at all? So, which character has the biggest advantage with absolutely no use of their power? We're going to be starting at the beginning. We're going to start with Trapper. And Trapper, as he is, with no add-ons, he is just a basic M1 killer. Can't really do anything special, except maybe the survivors are scared of the traps. So that might put him a little bit ahead of everyone else. But as such, just being a regular 115 killer, he gets to be in B tier, maybe higher in B tier because of that fact. Next is, of course, the Wraith. And without add-ons, Wraith is D tier. He's lowest of the low. He could not get worse. There's one person who's worse, but Wraith, with no add-ons, he cannot do anything. He cannot use his power button, so that means that he can't come out of invisibility. He can't hit people at all. There's just no gameplay. You're just gonna be walking around invisible. You can't do anything. Moving on to Hillbilly. Hillbilly is about the same as Trapper. Can't use his power at all. No M2. The M2 is the whole power. He can't have any mobility, so he falls right into the same thing. But a little bit worse than Trapper. Actually, maybe about the same as Trapper, because of the fact that people might be scared of the chainsaw, so they might throw pallets early. But besides that, if you're not using the chainsaw, then you can't really do anything extra. After Trapper comes Nurse. Or sorry, after Hillbilly comes Nurse. Nurse gets to be top of D tier. She's very, very slow. Incredibly slow. Has a normal 32-meter terror radius. But she's not going to hit anybody if she's moving at that speed. Just way slower than anybody else. Can't blink. Can't do anything, really. So after Nurse comes Huntress. Huntress, big lullaby, 110 speed. So she's slower than these two. Slower than any of the 115 speed, but can't throw hatchets, so she gets C tier because she's better than Nurse, but she's worse than these two. And she has a big lullaby. So if we move on to Michael Myers, he gets to be in C tier with Huntress because without using any add-ons, he still has no terror radius in his first tier. Actually, maybe he'll be top of D tier. Do you guys think Michael Myers would be slightly worse than Huntress or just slightly better than Nurse? Because he's very slow. He's 105 speed, but Nurse is... He's slightly faster than Survivors. Nurse is only 97% speed. But Michael is 105, but he has no terror radius. Definitely worse than Huntress for sure. But better than Nurse. All right, well, let's leave him top of D tier then. Just because he's slower than all the 110 killers. Speaking of 110 killers, our next up is Hag in C tier. She'll also stay, but I think Hag is going to go slightly above Huntress because two reasons. One, she has no lullaby, and two, she's short. Yeah, exactly. She's short, so she's hard to see around loops. She'll give you a little bit of a little bit more of a run for your money because she's so small, and also because she's so short, her lunge seems a little bit longer than it should be. Next in the list we have Doctor, and Doctor I would put, since he's just a regular 115 killer, I would put him in B tier, but I'm gonna put him above Trapper and above Hillbilly because he has oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. He has a regular terror radius, so no, he can stay below these two, actually. I was thinking about add-ons. Okay, Doctor's like A. He's the same as these guys, so I don't know how he'd be any different. I think he's worse than these two, actually, because there's no threat of the chainsaw. No threat of random traps on the ground, so survivors aren't going to be careful at all. He's basically the same as these two. After Doctor, we have Bubba. Poor Bubba. Same tier as Doctor. There's not really a difference. There's not really a difference between these two. And then we have Freddy. Freddy is the first character that we are seeing here who has a passive power. He passively puts people to sleep, and that also gives him a little bit of passive stealth. Freddy should be S for his lunge. I'll keep him in A because he is short, like Hag. He has the shortness bonus of Hag, so he has the long-looking lunge, and he has the passive stealth and passive slowdown. People want to wake themselves up, so he has a little passive stuff. So he gets to be an A tier because he's actually quite good not using his power. Pig is exactly the same as these three, or as these four. Pig's basically the same. There's no difference. They're all the same. She can't press control. She can't press M2, so she can't use her power. Next up is Clown. Clown sits in the same spot. You know the reason why. These four, basically all the same. Next up is Spirit. Spirit is interesting. So I would put her top of C tier, simply because of the fact that she has passive phasing. So she'll phase in and out, even though she's 110 speed, so it might help people a little bit. But does it give her more of a help than Hag for her shortness? I don't know. I think maybe a little bit more. Next is the Legion. Legion stays in here. Although I'll bump Legion up to the top of these ones because Legion's small and hard to see. So because Legion is a little bit more difficult to see, that he can stay above the top. In fact, I'll probably put him over Hillbilly. I think that's a more fair placement. Next up is Plague. Plague is the same as all these. Without her M2, she can't do anything. She can't use any of the power. Next up is Ghostface. Ghostface, I would also put close up here in B tier because of the same reason as Legion. He's a little bit bigger than Legion, so a little bit easier to see. But just M2 or M1 only. Can't really hide his terror radius, so nothing normal. He's basically the same as the rest of these ones, but just a little bit sneakier just because he's wears all black. He's hard to see. Demogorgon is the next up. He's in the same vein as the rest of these. Maybe I'd put him at the top of everyone under these stealthy guys, just because of the threat of being zoned, and also because he's a good boy. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Next up is Oni. Oni, I would also put higher up in B tier than the rest of these. Like probably here. Actually, probably above Demogorgon even. Because when he hits people, they have more of a reason to heal themselves. Just because they're bleeding, so people tend to heal themselves more often. So it ends up giving him a tiny bit of passive slowdown and a tiny bit of tracking. It's nothing amazing, but it's a little something. It's a little bit of something. It just gives him a tiny bit of an edge over the other people who don't have anything. Next up, we have Caleb Quinn, the Deathslinger. Deathslinger, he gets bottom of C tier. Oh, you know what? Let's put him just above Huntress. He has a 32-meter terror radius, so he doesn't have any sneak potential on anyone. He can't use his power, but sometimes people might zone themselves because they're worried that you're going to use your power, so he can be a little bit over Huntress because his power comes out so quick. Next up is Pyramid Head. Pyramid Head doesn't get any use of his passives or anything. He gets to stay in B tier. He can't use any of his powers. He doesn't have anything passive, so there's no reason to put him anywhere higher. Next up is the Blight. Same thing. Nothing different with him. He's just a regular 115 killer. Can't do anything. Doesn't have any passive powers. Twins. Same as well. No passives. Nothing they can do. Trickster. He gets to be in the same vein as Huntress, where he has a lullaby. People might kind of zone themselves a little, but I think they only do that if you're actually going to pull out the knife. So if you're not going to do that, then I don't think they're going to give you any free hits. Next up is Nemesis. Nemesis What do you guys think? We could either put him bottom of A tier or top of B tier, because Nemesis actually has the zombies. You think A tier for zombies, but not as good as Freddy, right? I think Freddy's passive is a little bit better than the zombies. Yeah, he's too big. He's really big, so he's very easy to see. But I don't know if he should be bottom of A or top of B for his zombies. I think bottom of A, because all these people, they have no anything extra. He actually has something extra. You think zombies do more than the dream world? More than stealth and more than stealth and passive slowdown? You think so? I feel like the dream world's more consistent. But the zombies, when they do their thing, they're a little bit better. I feel like because of the consistency of Freddy's dream world, he goes above. Next up is Pinhead, and oh boy, Pinhead is a easy S tier. Pinhead has the very best passive in the game. He is incredibly good without using his power. All you have to really do is chase down the person with the box, or find the box yourself. And let it go to chain hunt. He's undoubtedly, without add-ons, he's the best. He's incredible. I tested this out, and not using your power at all as Pinhead, you get pretty amazing results. It's surprising. It really is. After Pinhead, we have Artist. Artist also same vein as everyone else here. Exactly the same, 115 killer, nothing special. Dredge. Dredge, second to Pinhead. Dredge is second to Pinhead with his slowdown, or with his Nightfall, rather. Nightfall is such a good thing, and it just happens as you're hitting people. It's incredibly strong. There's no downside to it. You just play normally. You don't have to use your gloaming power. You'll get it. It really takes a couple minutes, and then you get it, and then you have free stealth. It's very nice. Knight, the same as the rest. Got nothing special going on. Normal terror radius. He's tall. Normal speed. Same thing. Same thing with Wesker. Except Wesker is probably the bottom of B tier because he. Oh, actually, no. Wesker can be the top of B tier. I'm sorry. Wesker can be the top of B tier because he has that big terror radius, the 40-something meter terror radius. 40 meter terror radius? I think it's 40 meters. So he gets to be top of B tier because he can combo that terror radius with perks that take advantage of it, basically. That's the only reason. Onion Ring is bottom of D tier. If I had an F tier, she'd go in there. She can't do anything. She literally can't do anything. She starts in the game demanifested. If you can't manifest, you can't hit anybody. Stays there. Singularity, he's B tier. He's the same as the rest of these ones. She's scarier than Wraith. She is scarier than Wraith. Onryō is, but she can't do anything. She can't even chase people during the, well, she's demanifested anymore. Fear factor, I would be more afraid of a Wraith that I never see than a Sadako that I see that doesn't do anything. I think Skull Merchant gets A tier in this tier list simply because people will disconnect as soon as they see her. So she gets to be an A tier in this list only. People tilt out. Yeah, people just leave. People just DC because they see her, they don't want to play DC. We have Xenomorph, who I would say probably A tier as well. Bottom of A tier. Because, so she has a special ability. She goes into crawler mode where she's harder to see, and she has a 24 meter terror radius. Plus, people are going to waste their time putting out the flame turrets. So that's passive slowdown, plus a little bit of stealth. It's pretty nice. So this is about how the tier list looks, with everybody in it. This is all without add-ons. So, Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do with add-ons. With add-ons, but no power. Yeah. So the best add-ons that you can bring that complement you not having a power. So Trapper, I would say, gets to be in A tier. Because if you're playing Trapper and you have Bloody Coil and you have Eerie Stone, people will untrap your traps, and then they will get injured, and the traps reset themselves too. And that's worth it for being A tier. Wraith, the best add-ons that you can run for Wraith that I've found is the Serpent add-on, and I think I was doing Windstorm Purple, because then you can actually get yourself out of Cloak, and you're no longer cloaked. You can chase people like normal 115. Hillbilly, he gets no change with his add-ons. There's no add-ons that he can use that actually make him better without using his power. Next up is Nurse. Nurse gets a little bump, a little tiny bump into the top of D tier, because with her best add-ons, you can now move at Michael Myers speed. Or actually, I think you move at 110 speed with Nurse with her best add-ons. Can anybody confirm that? Here, I'm gonna take a look at what the add-on is. I can never remember the name of it. It is Matchbox. And yes, Matchbox makes you 110 speed. So she would end up in C tier with Matchbox. That's the best add-on that you can run on her. Since you can't use it. And that puts her in C tier. You can go a little bit, tiny bit faster. Next is Michael Myers. Michael Myers, very sad. No add-ons make him any better. Can't use his power, so he gets stuck back in D tier. Poor guy. Slower than the Nurse now. Hag. Hag is S tier with Waterlogged Shoe. Waterlogged Shoe gives you a huge speed boost. You get, the wiki says that it's 4.5% haste, but no, they upped it to 7%, I believe. So that's why she gets to be S tier for this tier list, with add-ons. Next is the Doctor. The Doctor gets to slip into A tier. Actually, you know what? No, let's put him top of B tier, because all that the Doctor can do is have a bigger terror radius with the Calm add-ons. So we can give him a nice, really big terror radius. You can take advantage of that. Best you can do. Huntress, can't do anything different. She stays in C tier. Bubba, same deal. Can't do anything different, so he stays in B tier because he's 115 speed. Freddy with his best add-ons, I think he gets to be an A tier above Trapper, because we decided that Freddy's best add-ons were, I believe, Black Box. No, it was Red Paintbrush and Pill Bottle. That's the ones that I picked for Freddy. With Red Paintbrush, all the survivors start in the dream world, and with Pill Bottle, you get more stealth when walking up on people. Next on the list is Pig. Pig also gets to be in S tier with Hag. Pig has an iridescent add-on called, I believe it's Iridescent Videotape. Let me double check just to make sure. Oh, it's just called Videotape. And with Videotape, it starts all the survivors off with reverse bear traps installed. And I was trying to decide what the best add-on for Videotape is, and I think it's Videotape with Rule Set number 2. I think that's the best add-on combo if you're not going to be using your power at all. Because if you have Rule Set 2 and Videotape, everyone starts with the hat on. They can't see the boxes until 1 gen is done. Gives you a lot of passive slowdown. So next up on our list is Clown. Clown gets no difference with his power. With add-ons or out, doesn't matter. Spirit. Spirit gets to be top of C tier because she is she has passive phasing add-ons that make her phase a lot more often. But she's still 110 speed, not much you can do. Next up, we have the Legion. Without using their power, without add-ons, Legion doesn't have anything extra. They stay in B tier. But they are hard to see, so they're at least above Bubba and Clown. And Billy. Next up is Plague. Plague, same thing. Same thing as last time. There's no difference for Plague with or without add-ons. She can't do anything with her power with or without them. Next up is Ghostface. Same thing with Ghostface. He's a little bit harder to see than the rest, so he goes up here with these ones and can't really do anything extra, even with add-ons. Demogorgon, same deal. His add-ons don't do anything extra. Oni gets to be bottom of A tier. So Oni, with the add-ons, Splintered Hull, and Renijiro's Bloody Glove, you can have very decent aura reading on everyone when you hit them. It's pretty nice. And so I put that in A tier. He has some pretty decent tracking with it. Next up is Deathslinger. Deathslinger doesn't matter what you do. He still ends up bottom of C tier because he's got a 32 meter terror radius, 110 speed. With any add-ons, doesn't matter. It's not going to help you. Pyramid Head stays in the same place as last time because even with add-ons, he doesn't gain anything from it. Blight, same thing. 115 speed. Even with add-ons, nothing extra. Twins, same thing again. Even with add-ons, nothing changes with her. She's still 115 speed. No difference. Trickster. Trickster remains bottom of C tier, just above Caleb Quinn because he has a smaller terror radius. Even though he has a lullaby, it's kind of hard to hear. Nemesis with best add-ons gets to be just below Freddy. Because with his best add-ons, I decided the best add-ons that I would use would be Shattered Stars badge. I believe that's the iridescent one. Shattered Stars badge, and then Depleted Ink ribbon. So you get more zombies. They move 50% faster, and then when a generator is done, they move 150% faster. And they move almost as fast as a running survivor, which is pretty scary to see a zombie coming at you that's running almost as fast as you can. So that's why he gets to be an A tier just below Freddy. And he doesn't have to use his power at all for that. Next up, we have Pinhead. And Pinhead, he gets to be S tier again. And I think I would put him above Pig. All that happens with this one is that you run iridescent lament configuration, and either you run Larry's remains, so you can make the lament configuration solving time longer, or you run torture pillar so that the chain hunt activation is less. See the box? Okay, you could run Chatterer's Tooth, and that would make it so that you go pick up the box yourself and get undetectable and stuff. But I think it's better to get chain hunts more often with iridescent lament configuration than that. So that's why I thought that eerie lament configuration is better than Chatterer's Tooth. Artist, he's the same. Can't do anything extra. Dredge. Dredge gets to be just above Pig, just below Pinhead. Dredge's power with Malthinker's Skull, that's the yellow add-on, and Sacrificial Dagger. Everybody starts in Nightfall, and whenever you have somebody injured, you get 66% more progress towards your Nightfall per second. It's very, very good. Very, very strong. Next up is Knight. Knight can't really do anything. He stays in B tier. the rest of these ones. Wesker, he gets to be bottom of A tier because you can run, I believe it's iridescent Ouroboros vial. Let me make sure. I'm just double checking. Yeah, you can run iridescent Ouroboros vial, which starts everyone infected, and then with that one, you can run, I believe it is helicopter stick, and then people, you can have people's auras as soon as they heal. So that's pretty helpful. Next up is Onryō. She stays in D tier. Very sad. Onryō constantly in D tier. Poor girl. She can't escape. Even with add-ons, if she could be demanifested, if Onryō could demanifest, she would probably be one of the strongest because her passive is so good. But she can't demanifest because she can't use her power. So she stays in D tier, unable to do anything. Very sad. Singularity can be the actual bottom of A tier. Just after Albert Wesker, because he has an add-on that starts everyone slipstreamed, denied requisition form. That makes it so that everyone starts the trial slipstreamed, and the supply cases take 30 additional seconds to print an EMP. And then with that, you can add on the diagnostic tool construction. It's a purple add-on, and it makes it so that when people pick up an EMP, they get their auras revealed for 6 seconds. So you get a little bit of aura reading there. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. Next up, we have Skull Merchant, who gets to be an A tier because it doesn't matter what you run on her, people are still going to want to disconnect no matter what. People are just they don't want to play against her, they're just going to leave. They're all done just being in the match as soon as she's there. They don't want to play against her. And then Xenomorph. I was thinking I would put her in A tier because you can run Ovomorph, which gives you, it's a brown add-on. It gives you your crawler mode a little bit faster. I believe 25% faster. Oh, and then improvised cattle prod, which reveals the auras of people for 15 seconds after a generator is done, if they're within 10 meters of a control station. So there's our tier list for all of our killers without using their power with add-ons. I hope this was informative for everybody, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much.